Hi everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about nannies, teachers, parents, preparing to be all those things, what exists online in the world out there. So yeah, so today I spent the day looking at that point, looking online, searching, and I want to first start off by explaining how each word, like the word nanny or the word teacher or the word parent, each is specific and they will have different meanings both online and internet, but as well within in your consciousness, in your mind, where you will access different parts of your mind of who you are when you use different words. And that is how reality is structured, through words, where it is separated, it is divided, it is specialized, you could say, which right now it's not really aligned with the physical reality. It's not really aligned to what is best for all. But it is aligned within what it is, and that's our reality, which is less than ideal. But that's what is here. And so the first point is to realize that point, to be able to accept it, and be able to work with it. So the same thing goes with work with any point of information, like whenever you're reading something or talking about something, it's always about you being the one that's stable, collecting different parts of information, but you looking at it, not really being possessed within it or being like trapped within it, but looking at the whole picture, all the different parts. So for example, when I was looking at say schools for being a nanny, or classes for being a nanny, there are classes out there, there are schools out there that exist. But when I was looking at classes to be a parent, or schools to be a parent, I first found a lot of classes that are from court approved classes for being a parent. So these are classes which the court has approved for legal situations where parents get in trouble, or maybe they get divorced, or they're a foster parent, and they sort of have to prove that yes, I can be a parent. So these are classes designed for that. When I look at those classes, my impression is it's not very good. It's just it's only just for being approved for legal cases. It's not real practical support in being a parent. What that really means, like real preparation. Now beyond that, there were some few classes, very few, and they're all very local to their communities, which it's like supporting parents who really need at least something, like some support. It's like parents who are more in poverty situations, for example, or they just need that basic support. Beyond that, though, it's like it's like really interesting. It's like the approach is like I saw one website which is very clearly very much a positive oriented website where, based on my experience with sales, that's very much into creating a good experience within the person taking the course. So really just making a sale based on that, selling a feeling. So it doesn't really provide any real practical support. That was one website I saw. And another website I saw, it was more of a somewhat general approach with some supportive material, but it's like missing that that's like, let's say, real class. Like compare to what I saw with the nanny schools. Like the nanny schools were much more, let's say, focused on relevant topics and relevant things like learning CPR or nutrition or stuff like that. So if I were to if I were to be a parent, it seems better to take a nanny course based on what I saw today. And yeah, I mean, for parents, there's a lot of books out there. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of books. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of books. But there's no like really like a real class, like a real like school dedicated on that. There were like some attempts like support with some basic information, and I really do appreciate the people making those efforts and doing those things. But in comparison or to what's possible, it's not really that good, you could say. But I mean, here's the thing to realize too, which is probably obvious, maybe or maybe not, is that when you're being a nanny, you're training for a job, so you get to pay the people to train you, so that makes sense, and you make money in the long term. While as a parent, you're not making any money with being a parent, so maybe that's the reason why. Maybe it's like the lack of incentive for people to create courses for parents, because they don't make any money off of that. It's like the whole economic thing involved. I mean, sure, you have plenty of books, but I mean, where is the actual real practical situation where you get to actually work with kids, work with things where it's actually guided, and you are taught really like full education and being a parent, full preparation. I mean, comparatively, you'd be better off like studying to be a nanny as a preparation to become a parent. So I mean, that's kind of weird and sad and odd. I mean, that should be like, if anything, like that should be the point that has the most amount of preparation, most amount of schools, most amount of courses, most amount of attention placed. But it's not. And yeah, like I recognize like some of the major magazines for parenting, for example. I found those websites, I mean, that's not like, it's not like the same, like a real conversation, because some of the websites I read is just like all these like knowledge and words which are so ambiguous and unclear and just vague and not really practical. Like really, what do you do in this situation? Like really. And what I did find was within that there was points of like a lot of personal opinions, a lot of personal things involved. It's like really like it's like there's all these theories out there, but there's no one like real cohesive thing that, okay, this is the best way to do it. Like really like practice and test it out. As with all other things in our society, there are those things that exist. Like there is supposedly this way or that way. But when it comes to parenting, it's like it doesn't exist. Yet, when you look at the really basic point of it, it's about the child. It's not about being a parent or being a nanny or even being a teacher. It's about the child. That should be the focus point. I mean, if you had a really good course on being a nanny or being a teacher or being a parent, they would actually be the same course. This is all based on the child, who the child is. That's what it is. That's why I introduces my video here with this point of the importance of words, because we all have different words, like being a nanny or being a teacher or being a parent. When really it's just about the really practical point that you're here and a child is there. That's what the really practical point is. So all this education should just be surrounded on that point. Who the child is, and who you are in relationship to the child. Whether you're a teacher, whether you're a parent, or whether you're a nanny, or whoever you are, or a relative, or any kind of person. Where's that really basic like education, the support, the training for that, about who you are, which that would be extremely practical and relevant and supportive. Well, what I see is a lot of like fluff and a lot of like these marketing techniques for like trying to create a product to sell, not really actually supporting like fully hands-on. And I see that potential. I see that I can see that existing. And I can see that having a positive, let's say, effect, positive thing in people's lives. And I don't know. Is it just because it's just something that is right in front of us that we're not seeing and no one's acting on it? It's just that simple. Or do we face resistance to doing this? Do we face resistance to actually having a course, having a school, having education of how to be a parent? For example, like, I know some people who are being parents for the first time, and yeah, I mean, you can read stuff, but if you had like a real practical, like one-to-one support, like, okay, this is what you do, that would be best, you know? It's like, because there's it's like the same situations repeat themselves. We're all human beings, you know? We're all gonna go through the same things, more or less, you know? It's kind of weird that it doesn't exist. You know, you should be able to search, like, okay, how to become a parent, or train to become a parent. And, you know, it should be like, there should be something out there that's a support, like, really, it's like a full guide, like, hands-on, like, through all the stages, through all the moments, through all the situations, like, here it is for you to learn, support. I mean, yeah, right now we do rely on people we know, but the problem within that is that we're gonna maybe make the same mistakes, and we're not gonna see everything. We don't benefit from everyone's experience, and actually, some of us, we actually give bad advice, and some of us, we actually don't really know fully. But if we had like a place where we actually tested information, cross-reference everything, take everyone's experience, and see what actually is best, you know, to really test it out, I mean, that would actually be best for everyone. But as far as I can tell, that doesn't really exist, either free or paid of any sort. I mean, there are kind of like little camps, like philosophy within parents, but I mean, that's, like I said, is very ambiguous words, like very much philosophical, like separate from reality. But yeah, and for me personally, I've been walking a process with principles, which I've made practical. So I can see the potential there of just simply through principles, knowing like what to do in a situation, you know? That's basically all you need. Because a child will take on who you are, your principles. And we all kind of know that already, that, you know, we're the example for the child. But it's not so much, you know, the child should do what we say or do what we do, but they're going to become who we are, basically. They're going to take on our points. If we're lying or deceiving to a child, they're going to take on these points. If we are manipulating them, they're going to take on these points. If they're blah, 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 we're going to take on this. It's like a very basic point of self, who you are. I didn't see that within the material online. I saw very much ambiguous, fluffy, non-practical, non-specific support, which is perhaps the best that exists so far, which I applaud the effort so far that's been made, but there's so much more that's missing that can be done. So for me, I'm looking at this because it's best to learn what's out there and to take it on, like try it out, take the courses, say that I've done it, but to not be stupid to be like, okay, well, only trust this information and that's all there is. Because for me, I test things out, I cross-reference, see what's practical, see what's supportive, see what works. And the most important point is always self, who I am, who you are. Because life is really much a point of common sense. It's here. It is right here. It's all of us. And yeah, it's really that simple. So, I mean, I can see reasons why things are like this right now. But it's not an excuse for why it exists like that. We can do better. So let's support everyone. Because guess what? A lot of us, everyone, are going to be parents. Let's support everyone within developing themselves, who they are. Because guess what? That's what they're going to pass on to their children. Okay, so thank you very much. Bye.